Hello everyone, my name's Larry, aka Simudad. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Summer in Thuringia III Terralife Plus. Hope you're all well. Hope you've had a great week so far, whatever you've been up to, and I do hope you're enjoying the series so far. We are episode 11, I believe. Last episode out, we harvested our wheat. And we picked up the bales. Or sort of baled up the straw left over from the wheat. We sort of left the episode there. With regard to that, now we have slept forward to the next week, so we are 3rd week of July. We currently, if we do a little run around of our fields, we don't currently have a lot to do. So we've got our spelt growing here, which is a couple of weeks away from being ready. And then if we hop in the menu real quick, and we will do a quick jump. So if we jump over to our grass fields, if you like, we've got our clover here, which is stage 22 or 27. So it's been a few weeks till that's ready. That will be ready, I think, around the last week of August. And then we've got our meadow grass over here, which is 22 or 27. So it's be a couple of weeks until that's ready as well. And then we hop up to our last field, which is field 87. And this is our silage corn, which is growing stage 22 or 26. And that, again, well, that actually is quite a bit longer. If we look on the thing here, we're probably looking at minimum the last week of August at the earliest. But I'm thinking probably somewhere in September that'll be ready to chop. So there's not really a whole lot of stuff to do. The episode today is there's a couple of things I want to do once we get out of this cornfield. So I want to buy a couple of fields. I alluded to it in the last episode, basically about taking a loan to kind of get ourselves set up a bit more. I've done some digging, I've looked at the recipes. At present, based on what we've got, we need to have at least 8 fields that we own, because we need a field for maize for silage, we need a field for clover grass for silage, we need a field for meadow grass for silage, we need a field of white lupine, a field of wheat for the straw, and then we need a field of barley for the grain grist, and a field of oat for the grain grist, and also a field of sugar beet. So what my plan is, I've been having a little look on the map between episodes. First things first, right, what I want to do is I want to take a little loan. I'd say a little loan. We could take 1.5 million. I don't think that I want to take 1.5 million. I think probably I'm just going to take, I'm just going to take $1 million. I'm going to put it over the longest period. So we're going to be paying 3,682 a month. So we'll take that. Now, what I was thinking is if we jump into the map. So we currently own field 83, 82, 87 and 59 to give us 5 fields in total, because we split 59 in half. Now, what I want to do is have a little shuffle around of the fields, and I want to purchase 2. So the 2 that I want to purchase is field 81. We get a 5% discount on that anyway because we did a harvest. So that's going to be just under 280,000. Wrong one. So we want to do that one, and we want to buy that. So yeah. So we own that one. I'll talk about that one in a second. And then the next one that we want to buy is this one here, field 58 for 147. So we're going to buy that. So this is what I'm thinking. We're going to have a little shuffle around of where things are through the course of the next season. So at present, my maize silage is in 87. I want to move that to 83. In 87, I want to put clover grass for the next season. Field 59, I'm going to join those two fields back to make one, and that's going to be meadow grass, because field 59, although they don't look it, field 59 and 87 are a very similar acreage. I think there's about 3/4 of an acre between them, so we should have a similar amount of clover and meadow grass. Field 82 here, which is where our winter wheat was, that's going to be white lupine. Field 58, which we just bought, that's got spelt at the moment, that's going to have our wheat in it, winter or summer, either or, doesn't matter. But that's going to go in there. And then what I'm going to do with field 81 is I'm actually going to split this field. So I'm going to split, come across here to make a small field here, and that's going to be sugar beet. And then I'm going to try and split this field roughly in half, and that's going to be one side barley, one side oats. So that's the plan at the moment. We also need to rectify a couple of things, or make some changes to a couple of things that we've purchased. So if we head down to the store, I was doing some testing, because I'm a big believer in testing, or I like to test, because when I'm hitting record, I know we are using super strength, don't shout at me too much about that. But I like to test things because I like to feel somewhat confident that when I'm actually recording, I sort of know what I'm doing. So I was testing, and this mower setup seems to be somewhat not, I don't want to say buggy. Buggy's not the right word, but it doesn't seem to work correctly. It seems to alter the yield quite a lot. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to repaint it. I'm going to repaint that. So we're going to sell those. We'll get 30, close to 37 back for those two. So we'll sell those. So that's that. In its place, I'm going to buy a new mower, because we do need the mower and we'll need it quite soon. So I'm going to buy that now whilst we're riding high on cash, which are here. And the ones I'm going to go for are the Kubota ones. So we're going to have... I don't really... I mean, there is a small part of me that maybe thinks we just get the logos off. I'm going to do that. It's a bit controversial, but we're going to no logos, and we're going to get them in the class colors, because they are going to go on the class mower. Sorry, class tractor. So we are going to get the swath mode on the back, and we're going to take the logos off this as well. And we are going to get that in the class colors as well. So we're going to buy those. So that's that. That's our mower situation sorted. I don't quite know what the issue was with the other one. It just seemed to be as if it was holding all of this stuff in the mower for some reason. It wasn't like pumping it out, so I don't really know. Maybe because it's something to do with the Terralife Plus and the extra crop types and stuff. Maybe it was having an issue with that. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Now, there's another thing that I want to do, again, in the interest of getting set up for things to come. And this is slightly harder because we do have stuff in the way at the moment. We need to put down some clamps, so we need at least 4 clamps. Now, we've got 2 already, these 2 big ones here. And then we need 4. So what I actually want to do is I want to get this big old IBC out of the way. Now that'll go there. That's fine. So what I want to do is I want to get these bales out of the way, which we only just bought them. We only just put them there. We are going to drive round and we're going to pick them up just so we can get these out of the way, because what I actually am going to do is this machine, or this workshop next to us, I want to sell that, and I want to replace it with a mod workshop, and then I want to put the clamps behind it. So this is a purely cosmetic decision. There's no real rhyme or reason to do it. That machine shed that's there now works perfectly fine. Yeah, I would just like it to be set up slightly differently, I believe. So we're going to move these over here for now. Out of the way. I'll just stick that there. It's a bit annoying because I would have liked it if we could have used that bale storage mod, but it wasn't recognizing the bales, which obviously, you know, we need it to recognize the bales to actually store them. So it doesn't matter. I also think or know that I've messed up with those bales anyway, in the sense of I've picked the wrong size, because when I was working out my feed mixes, it was predicated on a bale that was like 5,000 litres, which is the smallest, the 125 bales, whereas I picked the 180 bales, which are 11,000 litres. So what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom out. I want to sell that, so we're going to sell that for 106,000, and we need to sell the little garage point in there as well for nothing. It just gets rid of it. Now what we do need to do is I want to get rid of these trees here. The trees aren't worth anything to us in the long run, so it's not like we're losing a load of money by just deleting them out. So that should be fine. So if we get back up over here out of the way, we're going to get into our construction menu. We're going to get into our sheds, and the ones I want to use are... Oh, that's right. Right, sorry, my bad. I was looking in the wrong menu. It's a workshop, not a shed. Silly man. So what I want to do is I want that to go there like that. So that looks nice in there. It's not blocking our way there. This is a really nice workshop mod. Plenty of storage space, as well as the workshop over here, so that we can make custom changes to our equipment and stuff like that. So we're going to put that one there. And then the next thing that we want to pop down is we want to put down our clamps. And we're going to use the Maze Plus, the Terralife Plus ones. And we're going to... Basically, I want to put these... Put these around the back here. We're going to put 3 side by side like that. That gives us 1 extra, so that gives us like a redundancy almost. This space is negligible here. It's just because there was stuff in the way. But yeah, that gives us 3 nice, fairly large clamps back here to put stuff in. And then we've still got a fairly decent amount of space out here. So that's going to sort us out for that. We're still riding decently high on money off the back of that loan, which is not bad at all. Beautiful. So the idea will be is that we will use this for vehicle storage as well as a workshop. So we're going to try and keep this bay empty at all times. And then we've got 2, you know, we'll be able to fit 2 tractors, at least maybe even 3 tractors back to back in here. implements all kinds of stuff. So, and that, I just like the look of that a little bit. So that's going to be, you know, like I say, completely optional. It wasn't needed at all. Cool. So that's absolutely fine. I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. We may stick our sort of IBCs and stuff in there in the end, but at the moment I'm pretty happy with that. Now the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to quick check the sales of one of those already. We don't need a spreader, we don't need one of those. I was half tempted to buy one of these because at the moment we've got a harvester on lease, John Deere 670. We've got the Fendt Ideal here. Could drop it down to a 7T for not much extra money. And that's going to hold 12,500 litres. Is that probably worth doing? I think maybe. We can actually get that pumped up. Fendt Designs. Oh yeah, now you're talking. Guys, sold it. And I also realized that we can start putting number plates on our stuff. We haven't bothered because what I hate is when you've got number plates with different, like you put an implement on here, so you've got a number plate on there, and then the implement, like the trailer or whatever, has got a different number plate, and just trying to remember to change the number plates over, I mean, quite frustrating. So I realized that we could have that one, so we could just have every number plate with Simudad, and that would be absolutely fine. So we are going to buy this at 239,000. We're going to buy, and maybe when our money is slightly better, we will have a look, have a think about a slight change. And that is going to be a slightly bigger header. We've got options for Capello, Diamond, corn, sunflower headers. Sorry, corn header, and we've got the Helianthus sunflower headers as well. So that's cool. What did we get it? It was the DO7T. So probably just get the Fendt Plough Flow. We'll get it in the matching color. We're going to buy that as well. And then we're going to get the matching header trailer as well. So that is going to be fine. We're going to return our harvester. Turn yes. We're going to return the header, yes. And we're going to return the header trailer, yes. And then got our own waiting for us up at the shop. So that was probably an unneeded step, I'll be honest with you. You're probably all screaming, well, why did you just spend the best part of 350,000 on a harvester? Because it was there. That's the only thing that I've got. It's because it was there. And you know, we do need a harvester. We'll need a harvester for many things to come. Now, what I want to do for the rest of the episode is we want to get ourselves prepped up for on the wheat field that we harvested. Swing around and we'll pick our plough up. Alrighty, lovely job. Get that in. Should be a straight back now. In terms of the field plan, obviously one of the things that we're going to be planting is wheat. And the question really is, other than time of year of when it's planted, is there any real difference between winter or summer wheat? There's a big gap between, obviously, sounds stupid to say it, but there's a big gap. Oh, hello. There's a huge gap in planting season between them. I just don't know if there's any like benefit to doing one versus the other. Allow create field. Limit to fields is what we want. We want to, what was the angle on here? When we set up the GPS on the, so show lines on, headlands, stop mode, and we want to head in, I think it was like 198 when we were running the harvester. It's not 198, it's, so if we can run straight across the field, it's probably, I mean 198 is not bad. Actually 198 is not bad. So I'd just like to know really if there's any kind of real difference between winter and the summer wheat in terms of yield or anything like that, because if it's the same, we'll just see how we're going for work, and if we've got stuff to do, if we haven't got anything to do, then we'll just do whichever one it fits into our work schedule. Yeah, all that's left to do on this episode is we are just going to be ploughing in fields. Ploughing will also get rid of any leftover little bits of straw swath as well, so lovely job, lovely. Yeah, I think this will be a nice little plan for the farm going forward. We're not running any kind of, as far as I remember, we're not running any kind of crop rotation mods or anything like that, because I wasn't sure if they would work with Terralife Plus. So ordinarily I would like to rotate the crops that we've got in the fields, with the exception of like the grass type crops, but what we'll probably do is, at least for the immediate next couple of seasons, is what the plan is. We will oh, nearly just killed our fields, you silly old man. Yeah, so the fields that I read out at the beginning, those will be our sort of planned fields going forward now for the rest of, or not the rest of the series, but certainly the next couple of seasons until we expand. I talked about getting goats. Obviously we're going to have some calves in a few months time, or sort of in another 8 or 9 months time, so that might change things. But we'll just wait and see what happens. I'm just sort of going through it at my own pace, when nice leisurely time, trying to learn the nuances of Terralife Plus and the complexities that that brings. The one thing that I do need to do is I need to configure we bought the CCM mill a while back actually, because it was on a used sale. At the time I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just knew I'd probably use it at some point, so I just configured it in the stock configuration as a CCM mill. That has changed now. We want it as a grain grist mill, so we will need to drop that into the garage at some point to reconfigure it. But that's not a priority. We're at least a season away from being able to use it. Although actually, that being said, we're not a season away from being able to use it, because we've got some wheat now we can actually buy. Because basically, to make the grain grist, you need wheat, oat, and barley, which is why we are planting 2 smaller fields of oat and barley. So we can actually use it this season. We just have to sort of concede and buy in our oat and barley. What we are also going to find is the field that we split in 2 previously, we're going to have to plough the line back in, And what we're going to find is that the first cut off that field of meadow grass after, or the next cut rather, not this first cut, because we are going to have one cut this season, but the first cut is going to be probably slightly down on potential yield, because two fields I think are likely to grow at different times, because I don't necessarily, I'm pretty certain that the meadow grass is going to grow back season to season. So I don't want to waste my time and also seed, because seed is quite expensive, on reseeding the entire split field, because that's just, you know, it's quite unnecessary, to be honest. So I'm just going to have to seed the one side that is currently clover, and then there'll be sort of basically like a growth stage. I think it'll end up being that there'll be about a growth stage apart, roughly, give or take. And then, yeah, that once we've done that, like I said, that first cut will be a bit not right, because one stage will be like a forage stage, so the yield won't be as good. So it's all good. It's all stuff to think about. Obviously, my only concern with this series, obviously, it's not like an underlying challenge. The challenge of the series was to learn how to play Terralife Plus. That was the complexity, as you guys, you know, as I say all the time. And you guys have been around for a while will know this about me. My preference, I like to set myself little challenges, you know, start with massive loans or start with no equipment or whatever. But I didn't do that on this series, because obviously the series was actually about Terralife Plus and the extra things and complexities and stuff like that. So my only concern at the moment is that we're currently lacking on any major sort of money making opportunities. So what might be worth doing down the line, some stage, when we've got a bit of money behind us that we can actually spend, is it might be worth giving consideration to buying up that extra piece of land there that we there's the grassland there, and using that as a place that we can put down some greenhouses or something, because you know you can pretty much run those sort of passively, in the sense of if you put them down, you just fill them up once a season, and then pretty much call that good for the season. Now, you know, you can set them to sell, so it will just be a constant little, you know, not crazy money, you know, it's not life altering money or anything like that, but it's enough that it'll just keep a little bit of income ticking over season to season, whilst we're waiting for obviously our cows to start producing. We will have, you know, a little bit of stuff to come in. Just gone off my line now. You know, like we've got oat and barley going in. We've got, you know, we'll use a little bit of that, but we won't use all of it. Obviously, we've got 2 fields of spout. You know, it could be that we buy ourselves a little bakery. We see if we can do anything with the spout in the bakery. I don't actually know if the bakery in Terralife Plus, or if you can actually do anything with the spout, or if it literally is just an ingredient for making feed. Because we've got no other use for the spout. It's certainly not in our current feed mix. And then the other option we do have is a complete and utter curveball, if you like. Not curveball, but a little bit of a curveball option to keep the money flowing. I did discover the other day, completely by accident, on the test save, that this map does have some collectibles on it. Now, I don't know how many there are. I don't know where they all are. I know where one is because that was the one I discovered. They're little like duffel bag, suitcase bag things, and they're worth, I think it was worth 20,000 or 25,000. So that is the other option. Like I said, it's a bit of an out there option, and it's not something I've tended towards in the past, finding the collectibles, but if times are hard and push comes to shove, then it may be that we nip on a little collectibles hunt and find ourselves some collectibles and keep ourselves sustained like that going forward. Obviously my preference would be that we sustain ourselves through earned income. Obviously we've got the BGA running. We've got some more stuff to put in there, like slurry and manure to top it up. That doesn't, it doesn't give us a huge amount, but it again, it's a little bits of income. So, and to be honest with you, it's not like we'd be using the manure or slurry for anything else anyway, so if we've got a way of being able to translate that into some kind of income, then we may as well, to be honest. But I'm reasonably happy with how things are at the moment. You'll have to figure out the split of our field shortly. That field up there, we probably should buy the soil samples as well. I can't remember if we bought the soil samples for all of our fields yet. I think we did, but it's something to think about, at least. Yeah, other than that, I feel sort of confident that the series is kind of doing alright. Sort of along the right ballpark, if you like. So we're just going to get this ploughed up in this episode, and then we will we'll worry about what's to come after that. This field is going to have the white lupine in it, and the white lupine, if I just check the calendar, we've actually got quite a window until we need to plant the white lupine anyway. It plants sort of middle of March through to middle of April, so we've got a fair old while to worry about it. So yeah, we won't worry about pH in this field, or sort of carbo lime in this field. I'm sort of fairly happy that it's to raise my tool up. We'll just come over to this one. I'm fairly happy that, although it's not at maximum, it's high enough that it's not actually going to affect our yield in any kind of massive potential way. So it will need some nitrogen, but I think we're probably better off waiting until the white lupine is in to do that, because if you do it without... I wonder, actually... I want to do some... I need to do some digging, actually, because all of this stuff here, warm season, cool season, Mize Pro, Betamax, Enflax, all of that stuff, I need to understand what that's for. If it's... Because what might be, which is not, again, not something I tend to do, but if we're at a loose end, we might as well put down some oilseed radish or something like that. So if these are all like cover crops that aid with fertilization, then we may as well just chuck some of them down. But if they're not cover crops, then, but otherwise we will chuck some oilseed radish in here, and then we can just seed over the top of that, and that will give us a little bonus fertilization. Again, not something I've tended to in the past, but we may as well, since we're going to have such a big window, and it's, I don't want to say it's free, free fertilization, because actually, obviously you've got to pay for the seed. But the seed is probably cheaper than buying fertilizer, and it doesn't give us full fertilization anyway, from memory. I think it just gives like half, and then obviously we'd have to top it up with liquid fertilizer then. I'll have to, the problem is, again, not a dig at all in the way, shape or form to the farming agency guys or anyone involved. The problem is, because there's no like official manual out, I can't find out what those do off the top of my head, so I'll have to do some digging as to what they do. But worst case scenario, well, not worst case, but in any case scenario, if those don't turn out to be like cover crops that you can plough back in, then we'll do some OSR, oilseed radish, get a cover crop in like that. Just because otherwise the field's going to sit empty for 6-8 months. Alrighty, lovely job. Yeah, I hope you guys are well. I know it's well late in the episode to be saying this. I appreciate the support as always. You guys are, no, I'm missing loads now. If you guys are new here and you found me because of Terralife Plus, welcome in. If you're old and, not old, but if you're been around a long time and you're still watching my FS22 content because I'm a stubborn old fool, then I appreciate you too. And yeah, just generally, I hope that you are all well. The world is a dark place at the moment. There's a lot of, don't worry, I'm not getting all political or anything like that, but just generally the world is a dark place, so I hope that you're alright. I hope that you're well, I hope your family's well, and yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. Do my worst ever Forrest Gump impression. What an absolutely amazing film that is. It's my absolute all-time favourite film. I might even actually watch it. Now I've said that, I might even watch it after I finish recording here. Beautiful stuff. I did a couple of episodes ago, I did have some positive feedback from Mr. Farquhar about my equipment choice. He seemed to like my choice of equipment. I am slightly, not, I don't know, slightly regretting the plough choice. I feel like maybe I should have gone with a different plough, but it's doing what it needs to do. I think it's got a very large turning circle. So do another headland pass to nip off these last bits, and then it'll be probably a little bit more targeted. Yeah, as I was saying last episode, I think it was last episode, I had a little break, and it happens every year, and last year the break turned into an extended period of time. I got waylaid with summer, and then just the motivation, I suppose, or desire or whatever, just completely left. But I'm hoping to get back onto a regular schedule. I'd really love to get back to streaming again, back on Roadcraft, because that's had an update and it's had its rebuild expansion and stuff has come out, so I'd really like to kind of get back going on that. It's just finding the time. They've been ill the last couple of weeks. I talked about it in the last episode. I'm currently still dealing with bacterial tonsillitis. I've done 2 weeks back to back. First week had it, was the worst bacterial tonsillitis I've ever had in my entire life. And they gave me a 5-day course of antibiotics, and it disappeared for a couple of days, and then this week made a strong resurgence, which frustrated me no end. So when I went to the doctors again, I said, what's the crack, why has this happened? And she basically said, well, I think possibly that you should have had a 10-day course of antibiotics instead of a 5-day course. And that's obviously, it wasn't long enough, which is why it's come back, because it didn't fully kill the bacterial virus. Luckily, it does seem to be not as bad this time around. I think that's probably because I caught it earlier. Well, not caught earlier, I took action earlier to go and see the doctor than I did last time around. And the reason I didn't last time, because I was away at the time, so I didn't want to go through the rigmarole of trying to get a temporary doctor down where I was staying and stuff. Because when I started getting sick, it was only another day until we were coming home anyway, so I thought, you know what, I'll just brave it out. I think had I been home when I got it the first time, then I probably would have went to the doctor a day or two earlier, and probably wouldn't have been as bad. But we are where we are. We did what we did. Recovering now, but yeah, I am desperately trying to get back onto sort of a regular schedule again. But anyhow, so we're gonna do this. We are nearly done here. I think we've just got this little bit here, and I think we got everywhere else. We're gonna run up to that field there next, and we're gonna put our plough mark across the field, and then, because we may as well do it whilst the plough is out. I'm not going to be 100% accurate with it, because, you know, you can't. Basically, I just want to zoom out as far as I can. I think, for me, halfway is probably be just the other side. That tree, I think roughly there, give or take. I think that's as roughly half as I can get it, I think. So we'll go all the way to the grass edge. Yeah, we will be driving on the other farmer's field. I did have some feedback from my good friend Lin Yuen, who said if he was the farmer next to me, he'd be mad as hell because I keep driving on his crops. Which I know that I do that, and I shouldn't, but I do it. Much more I could say about that. Now, the thing is, we don't need... The reason we're doing this instead of buying fields is because all the fields are quite large, and we don't need... You know, we don't need massive amounts of barley and oats and wheat. Now, the mix for the grist, the grain grist, is predominantly wheat. There's a minimum of 50% wheat, so we need more wheat than we need the others, but we don't need colossal amounts of... Oh, pretty nice like that. Yeah, so we don't need colossal amounts, and all the fields were generally quite large, larger than I'd really want. And certainly for sugar beet, you know, I don't know, I've got a love-hate relationship with sugar beet. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the mood to do it. Other times I'm not so in the mood to do it. And yeah. So what we'll do now is we'll hop out into our construction mode. Obviously, what would be better, or what would have been better, is if we had squarer fields, because I've got the lock access tool on. There we are. So that's fine. So that's going to give us. I don't know how far I can zoom out. Even be better to look in the map, to be honest. So that's basically going to give us our 3 fields here. So that'll be sugar beet, and these will be oat and barley. And we've got the separation there, which is absolutely awesome. Beautiful. Cool. Right, there we are. So that's fine. So that's going to do us. That is going to do us. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to tidy these bits up here. And then that'll be ready for the next episode. And then on the next episode, we will see what there's left to do. But that is going to do us for this one, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already, and leave me any thoughts, feedback, tips, tricks, comments, whatever you like down below. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.